Welcome to the very first full-length hidden highlight videos. I got tired. Honestly, I got tired of y'all talking in the comments saying all these critical stuff, but I'm only doing a 10, 15, 20-second clip on these shorts or these Instagrams, TikToks. So I can't say everything I'm trying to say. So now I can say everything I'm trying to say, unless I forget something. If I forget something, then I'll try to clear it up in the comments. So if you're confused, comment down below. I'll respond to you. Or if you just want to learn something, support, comment down below. Make sure you subscribe, turn on those notifications, and make sure that you tune into every single one of these videos, because I'm dropping about maybe 5-6 videos a week each night after the game. Every game I watch, I'm gonna make a video on it. So make sure you tuned in, you tapped in, and you got the notifications turned on. So I came to watch this game just for Ben, because there's no Ja, Desmond Bain, Jared Jackson. And so I wanted to see how Ben was playing that 5 on offense and on defense. A little bit on defense, because he's not going to be guarding 5s too much on defense, but mainly offensively. But before we get to that, I think Ben Simmons is not left-handed. He is not left-handed. I don't think so. You shoot with your left hand? Tricked you, not me. He didn't trick me. I think he's right-handed. But first, watch these clips first. Watch these clips. He don't go to his left hand. He don't go to his left hand. Hook from the going over the left shoulder to the right hand. Shimmies right, goes to left. Goes middle. Right hand hook again. Rolls. Right hand hook, right hand float. And now boom, contact, right hand inside leg. Like the if you're a hooper, if you've hooped before, you know that whatever hand you have more control of is gonna be the hand you go to, especially on your floaters and hook shots and your layups, all of them. Anything towards finishing, whatever hand you got better control over, you're gonna go to. And so Ben keeps going to his right hand, so that means he has more control over his right than his left, because he has had opportunities to get to his left hand finishing, but he just doesn't get to it. He always goes to his right hand floater, his right hand hook, so he knows how to use his right hand and control it more than his left. So why is he shooting with his left? It's a good question. I don't know. I heard that he's changed his shot before in like high school or college, but even then, why change it if you have more control of your right? I think he needs to give his right hand another shot. I think he needs to give it another try. One more try. One summer, just lock in, learn how to shoot with your right hand, because your left hand has been whack. It's been whack. People have been roasting your ass so bad that you couldn't play. I'm sorry, but at least try shooting with your right hand. You shoot your hooks, floaters, all this stuff. You got control of your right hand. At least give it a try. At least give it a try. And what I was talking about when it comes to playing the 5, where you could adjust and improve what he does play the 5, regular season, and especially in the playoffs. My bad for missing that. But especially in the playoffs, when the times this come, it's his rolls. He's got to learn how to become a rim threat on these handoffs, on these pick and rolls. Because he's either going to hesitate on his roll, he's either going to miss the angle, or he's just going to roll late. It's going to be one of the three. And that's what I've seen in this game. It's probably happened in other games too. But notice here, he doesn't even roll hard. That goes back to the hesitating part. He hesitates. Laravia's here, but he's not making the tag. So he should just roll right here between this gap between Adams and Laravia and just get downhill behind Adams. Adams is not fast enough to be able to tag and stop Simmons from getting behind him. Because when Simmons gets behind, he's done. He's fried. Lob over the top. And if Adams tries to jump, he's going to jump backwards and get boomed on. And everyone's going to start doing the little celebration and all that, and some more, whatever. But he can't hesitate. He's got to roll and actually become a rim threat. And on these next couple clips, he just does his angling could be better. His angling could be better. And so as he gets this catch, notice how he steps up to set that screen after he gives the ball up. Whereas he should position himself to be in position to hit Conchar when he catches the ball, so that he doesn't have to move and do this little shoulder nudge that he's about to do. Notice the little shoulder nudge. You see that little shoulder nudge? If Conchar was aware enough, or if it was just a good defender, they would have sold that and they would have called an offensive foul. They would have just flopped to the ground like people be doing nowadays, and they just would have called an offensive foul, because they seen that arm come out and they would have thought it was more than it was. Like people do with the push-offs and the off-arms. It's just the same like that. But you could prevent that from happening completely if you just get to your position and you stay disciplined and don't move. And so A couple times he's actually did that. He does this on this next play here too, with Harris. Notice here, where he's bringing that arm out a little bit. It's the same thing. Conchar could have just fell on the ground, and he could have got the call, but he just fights through it. You just got something you got to be aware of even before the game. And then again, he goes back to that right hand floater. Like I ain't buying your left hand jumper. I'm not buying that you a lefty. Not me. And on this one, he just rolls late. Roddy Ben cleared the screen, and Katie's already looking for him to roll. Because if he rolls, Conchar's gonna pinch, and if once Conchar pinches, he's gonna have this pass to Curry. Curry, that's an open three, and that should be easy basketball right there. But this late roll stops all of that. It stops all of that. It can't happen because now he rolls late, and Roddy's able to get back in front, get between him and the rim. And so Ben, he not only does it once, he does it twice. On this dribble right here, Curry's looking to throw this live pass right here to Ben. But Ben, again, he's taking too long to roll. He's got to go. He's just got to go. You got to roll hard. Get to this rim. And Tyus Jones is not going to be able to make a play on this ball. Live pass, if Simmons catches the ball, keeps it high, and finishes, you don't got to worry about Jones. He's not going to be able to make a play on that. He's too small. But that's 2 times in one possession where he missed out on a bucket because he rolled late. Hold on, though. But Watson not even shooting like 56% from 3. Like, since when? Jib is shooting like 56%. Jib been going crazy. But it's going to go down, of course. But throughout the season, you're going to have a little shooting slumps. Yeah, but he's been shooting 56%. And that's quite impressive. He's like 16 or like 16 to 22 from the corners all season. Or like 17 for 23, something like that. But that's crazy. That's crazy impressive, though. And he's actually been getting burned. It's not like he don't be getting burned or something. He get burned. And then on this one, my bad for social. My bad for missing that one. My bad for this one. But look, on this one though, he just got to say forget the play. I know you run the set, but forget the play. Forget the play. And this is where you got to become a player and not a robot. Because what a player does, he makes plays within the play. But a robot, he just runs the play. He just runs the play. The player, he makes the reads and makes plays in the play. The robot, he just runs the play and just let things happen. He doesn't read the defense. They don't read the defense. So do you want to be a player or be a robot? Because the player is going to be the one who sees all the opportunities. They're going to see the whole court. They're going to see what the defense does, how to react to it, how to counter, all that stuff. But if you're being a robot, it's going to be hard to get on the court. You wonder why coaches take you out the game sometimes. It's because you try to force something. You try to force it. Whereas you just got to become a player and make the read and not try to force the game onto the game. You know what I'm saying? So once you start reading the floor and actually reading and reacting instead of trying to force something, that's probably why you don't know when to pick your spots. But you really just got to read within the plays. So that's going to be the difference between someone who's going to be able to get easy buckets and that scoring adds up, or a player who just doesn't. And they were confused of where they need to be aggressive and where they don't. I was the same way, but I just realized that's really the problem. That's really what the problem is. And now he tries to go and slip the screen, but that gives Adams enough time to get back. It gives Adams enough time to get back to him, and so they lose that, and now they end up getting the turnover for a moving screen. Boom, he needs to roll hard. He needs to go hard to the rim because KD's already looking for this roll. He sees this whole gap right here. Roddy has a long ways to go. And now he's able to get this pass off, but KD has to rush it behind Ben. He did a good job of sprinting, of getting back Ben. But he has to do that a little quicker. So KD doesn't have to throw that pass behind him before Roddy could get here and get a hand and try to influence where he throws that pass. But good hands by Ben. That's a crazy catch though. Behind his body, catch it, no dribble. You go straight up. And this is a good slip. It's not a screen, it's a slip. But way to burst right out of it. He does a good job of bursting right out of it. And most times early in the season, you'll see Ben catch the ball and then always look to pass and always look to read the defense and hesitate first. But to see Ben actually catch the ball and just go downhill and get a bucket, it's a good sign. It's a good sign. And I just want to mention that screening is a two-man game. Screening is a two-man game. So if a screener gets called for moving screen offensive foul, it's either because they get called for offensive foul because they moved, because the ball handler went a little too early, or The ball handler went, and they just weren't disciplined to stay still. Now, if you want to prevent those calls from happening and eliminate from it being your cause, stay solid on those screens. Stay solid. Don't move. And if the ball handler leaves early and then doesn't allow you to get set, that's on them. You got to tell them, you got to wait on me. You got to wait on me, tell them to get set. Communicate. Don't just sit there and let things happen. You got to communicate. But now, if you get called for that moving screen and that player the player leaves on time. But then you end up turning that shoulder like Simmons was doing earlier. And even if you barely touch them and they sell it, that's on you. You should have just stayed still. Best way to stop that from happening is by you staying still. And so it's a two-man game. If the ball handler leaves on time, the screener stays still. The screener's in good position to stay still. Then that's the key to a good pick and roll. And a good handoff because it be functioning the same way. And this is another concept Ben has to pick up as a 5. He's just jogging. Now, since he's been playing the guard his whole life, he may be used to being behind the play and letting the ball catch up and sit on the perimeter. But you're playing the 5 now. You have to run hard. You have to run hard to the rim. You can't just jog. Because now Kyrie's looking for you to make this play right here. If you're right here, he has this hesitation dribble. He'll be able to pick it up and make that pass. But now he's all the way back here. He'll be able to make this pass in this gap, but he's back here. And now if Simmons were to sprint and actually get to this middle, he'll be able to get downhill, attack Roddy. And now if he wants to make a play off the ball, he has KD right here. And he has Harris. You can't see him, but he's in that corner. Harris is in this right corner. And now Laravia has to make a hard choice. And boom, you're going to say, oh, what if Tyus Jones gets back in the play? Guess who else you got? Seth Curry right here. You got Seth Curry. And so now, just by him not sprinting hard enough, they miss out on a couple easy looks. It should be easy looks. Harris is able to make the best of it, though. And this is another concept as playing as a 5. You've got to learn how to maneuver around the rim. The 5 position, you got to learn how to maneuver around the rim. The player goes baseline, drives baseline, you circle middle. They go middle, you circle baseline. He would have been able to make this pocket pass right here. And so Ben has got to continue to keep moving middle. And even once he gets right here, he'll probably go to that right hand because he's not left-handed. I'm not buying it. And on this one, if he's guarding the 5s, he could be more active. Instead of trying to jump the lane, you could sit in the lane. He could already be in the lane and just make it hard to make these swings and these reversals so that you can initiate offense. He could just be active. Whether it's KD, whether it's Claxton, they all could be active right here and just disrupt. And that's how they're able to get stops and make up for some of their lack of size at some positions. It's just by running that clock down, because this could trim some time down on that clock. Because once it comes down, 3 seconds, it may not seem like a lot, but when you've already passed half court, which is probably like 4 or 5 seconds, maybe even like 6, depending on the play, and then you've got to disrupt this. That's another like 3-4 seconds. Then that's a whole like maybe 10 seconds you could trim off the clock without them initiating offense and really being aggressive. So if you're able to do that, I mean, they got 14 seconds to work with right there. That's 14 seconds. You just trimming that clock. You're trimming the clock. And on this one, Simmons makes his gamble on this play, but he doesn't give up. He gets right back in the play, makes an X rotation to Aldama, and he stays disciplined on the pump fake. And I want to talk about this a little more. A lot of y'all would get this right here, and y'all would gamble, and y'all would get back, and y'all just jog. Y'all get to this position where Simmons is at right now, behind the play, make the wrong gamble, just jog back. Like everything's all good. Like you chilling. I ain't do nothing wrong. You just jogging. But really, you're the person who caused the mess. So I don't know why you're trying to just jog right back in the play like you didn't do anything wrong. Like, what are you doing? Hustle back in the play. You need a hustle. Like you made the mess. So get back and try to clean your mess. Your teammates are gonna try to cover for you as much as you can, but you gotta also get back for yourself. You gotta hustle yourself. You gotta do what Ben Simmons does here on this play. Get right back in it. Try to clean up your mess. And he pump fakes and he doesn't fall for it. It's a good discipline too. And now these last few clips. You got to get back. You got to get back and hustle for it. My bad for not showing that. I went back. But you got to hustle. You got to get right back into play. And so these last few clips, these are residual. These are residual clips. These are just a couple things you can learn off of. A couple things you could pick up from. A couple things that you could add to your game. You can make sure you don't do, so then you can prevent bad things from happening when you playing. And so on this one, you see Ben Simmons with the palm, and he loads it up right there. He loads it up right there just to make that pass to Kyrie because he's got contract beat on the slip. And so Ben recognizes that. But also, Ben's giving it away just by loading this ball up like this, because the only way you're going to throw the ball is overhand. And Adams this whole time has his hand tracing the ball. His hand is just tracing the ball the whole time. And so that pass is just not going to get through. It's just not getting through. He has to keep the ball protected somewhere that's not going to give away to where he's going to pass it to. And the line of pass he's going to throw it. So if he just keeps the ball on the side, he'll be able to throw it over up top or fake it high low, fake it low and go high, whatever it is to get the ball to Kyrie. Simmons holding the ball, pass tipped by Adams. He hustles for it and a turn on Simmons. And just watch Adams on this one. Watch Adams. How he reacts to KD on this cut. You see how he shifts over? You see how he shifts over? Let's go back just a little bit. He's shifting over before Ben even throws that pass. But the thing is that Ben caught the ball a little too high. If he caught the ball at the free throw line, he could have made a play himself. Because now that he's so far, he's 2 dribbles away from the rim. He's 2 dribbles away. But now if he caught it at the free throw line, he could take 1 dribble, get to the rim. And even if Adams tries to recover on that, because now that he shifted over, he's going to have to sprint and get back, that's probably going to be a foul. Because it's hard to be able to sprint, recover, and go vertical. That's just a tough thing to do. That's a tough task. And so literally just by him catching the ball a few feet too high at a place where he's not even a threat, he's not able to get that too. Or those free throws, whatever it may be. And on this last one, he's about to switch on to Laravia. But he got off his feet. By getting off his feet, he's not able to change his direction. And that's a little more time that Laravia has to be able to take that dribble, get that first step, and get to the rim. And so what you have to do instead of trying to close out and hop out on these switches, whether to close out, you closing out to your man from help side, you got to move in steps. 1, 2, 1, 2. Don't ever hop onto your feet. Because now after you hop, you get balanced, and then now you got to shift your feet. You got to shift your positioning. So you got to make sure that you do not hop on these closeouts on these switches, because that could be the difference between you being able to recover or you getting blown by like Ben does here. And so all in all though, Ben has made some improvements, but he's got to be able to be sharp at that 5 position by the time the end of the season comes around, and hopefully he picks up on a couple of these things that Kyrie and KD are. Hopefully they're talking to him through it, because a lot of these actions is with Kyrie and KD. And so they may just be waiting on him as they're watching the film or whatever. You got to tell him what he has to do to get in these spots so that he could be aggressive and be able to get downhill. And even if he's not scoring the bucket, he could be able to put pressure on the defense and make them collapse so that another teammate could be open on the weak side or whatever it may be. And so if he's able to do that, also, another thing I forgot to mention, if he adds a consistent floater, that's going to help a lot too, especially on those short rolls. If you can add a consistent floater on those short rolls, it's going to make the game so much easier for him because he's extending his scoring range. So like you know how same thing for like Draymond. If Draymond had that floater, that short rolls, because they play a similar position, if they have that short roll, he would be able to get a few easy buckets per game because they're always short rolling on these drop coverages or where they're dropping back. So if you had that short roll, you could get easy 4-6 points per game just by short rolling and having a consistent floater. And he's going to do it with his right hand because he's not a lefty. He's not a lefty. He's going to do it with his right hand. So make sure you get some reps up on that. But Ben has been improving. I want to see how he improves throughout the season. And so this is a good sign for Brooklyn. But granted, if y'all stay away from injuries, y'all players don't engage in crazy endeavors through social media. Kyrie, I'm sorry, but Yeah, if any of that stuff don't happen, y'all should be good. Y'all are headed in the right direction. Now Boston, Milwaukee, that's gonna be a tough task for y'all, but we'll see. We'll see how things unfold. But make sure you subscribe, hit the notification, like, and turn on those notifications. Again, make sure you hit those notifications. Notifications, new videos every day, and I'll see y'all in the next video.